So Utopia 1951. And this is like a review from memory. I didn't just watch it, I'm reviewing this from memory. So Utopia 1951, from what I remember is, you have a fat guy and a skinny guy, and they're like on a boat, and they end up discovering this island by accident. So the world media is like, you discovered an island, yes? A new patch of island, blah, 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 volcanic, blah, blah, blah. It looks like a paradise or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we discovered it. And people are like, where are you from? And they're like, oh, we've been around. And they don't actually know. They're like, we don't actually know where we were born. We just spend our lives on ships. As you do. You grow up on ships. And you don't know your nationality. And that's super realistic. Right? Because it's like the black and white era, and like passports don't exist, I guess. So they're like, we're declaring this on our island, and the rules are there is no rules, and a whole bunch of people show up, and you can figure out, the typical, I want to do this, I want to do that, and now here, you cannot give us rules, blah, blah, blah. It kind of looks, it kind of reminds you that, I know why I'm reviewing this. Right? I remembered this movie because I saw Negan's speech on Dead City Season 2. Right? Because he's surrounded, but in The Walking Dead, the New York show with Negan, like, there's a scene where he's like has to finally be Negan, and he's like talking to these people, and they're like, they're used to this lawless society, and one of the guys was like, you don't give us rules, blah, 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 and one of the chicks is like, damn right, we don't have rules, basically, and it's the same exact thing. That's why I'm reviewing this movie. That's why I thought about this movie, yeah, basically. So it's basically that scene from The Walking Dead, but it's like mostly white people because it's the 1950s and it's black and white era. And your main guys are not a guy who's gonna probably beat your face in with a spiked metal bat. Your guys are just a fat dude and skinny dude, and they're comedians. Right. So you have this whole thing about figure out how to live free, blah, blah, blah. If living free isn't all it's cracked up to be, but it's not like a let's do dystopia kind of way. It's like you have actual responsibilities if you make your own micronation, basically. And at the end of the movie, the island just sinks, and some people on the boat are like, oh, they're right where the island used to be. So at the end of the movie, there was actually no point. It was just an entertaining movie, but there was no actual point at the end. Like, it was actually for nothing. How long has it been since anyone's watched a movie where the ending was, oh, it was for nothing, right? And it was just a fun thing to experience. How long has it been? Like, I cannot think of a single movie in the last 25 years that has been just, oh, and everything we did up until now was just for fun. Huzzah, everything's taken away, we're just having fun. There's this innocence that I don't think has been a lot permitted in movies since like the 1980s. I think that this sort of like, oh, it was just a party, and now the movie's ending. Yeah, I don't think, like, that sort of mentality of movie making has been around since, like, for the last 25, 35 years. Like, in the 90s, it just disappeared. I mean, sure, Steinfeld is considered a show about nothing, but Steinfeld is a TV show, and it's a comedy show, so it doesn't really count. And it's not the same sort of sense of innocence as the movies. Like, there was this sort of sense of innocence there. Before movies started focusing on giving you messages, even though the early messages, very good messages, here's this thing, here's that thing, blah, blah, blah. You gotta have an ending. You gotta have this ending. You gotta have that ending. You never really get anything where the ending is just, puff, it's all just for fun. I think someone should just make a movie that was just, here's a whole bunch of stuff that happened, now we're gone. Yeah, I think that's like like one of the main appeals of the Big Lebowski, actually. At the end of the day, and the Big Lebowski, it was really for nothing. It was just a thing that you experienced. Yeah, basically, for the last 25, 30 years, I cannot think of a single movie where it was all just for fun. No special blockbuster ending. No, we destroyed the alien spaceship with a tiny laptop that actually explodes in real life, and you should never fucking buy it. And also, the Big Mama sang, even though someone should have made like some sort of joke with an actual Big Mama, because I didn't see an actual Big Mama and whatever. Yeah, I cannot think of a single thing, you know? Someone should make a movie where it's all just for fun and just disappears at the end. We lost that innocence.